Hi everybody. Today I want to talk about blocks, but I want to talk about a psychic block. And the psychic block is usually put in from one person to another. And I just want you to have some awareness of that. This is different to the other blocks, like we can have our physical blocks, emotional, mental, psychological, and astral blocks. This psychic block is sent to you for a reason. It's a little bit like what they talk about in some of the Mediterranean beliefs of the evil eye. And it does actually exist, and I'm really uncomfortable with it because I don't like it. However, my guide showed me this week where I had a psychic block, and then they told me the two people who put it there. And even though it was somewhat disturbing and I didn't like it, it actually explained why I'm having trouble in that particular chakra that I'm having trouble in. And for me, it was the throat. They will usually do a psychic block in your solar plexus to disempower you, in your heart to hurt you there, or your throat. I think they're very major ones. If they want to shut you down and you've got a good third eye, they'll actually hit you there as well. It can be all over the body and it can be in the different chakras. Many people walk around with these psychic blocks and they don't even know that they have them, but they tend to have trouble in those areas. Then there are people who have no psychic blocks, because I went and checked everyone because I was kind of interested. Was I'm no Dumbo, he's got a psychic block here. But no, I found that there were blocks in other people that had been placed there by other people. The psychic block is meant to stymie you, shut you down, block you, disempower you, hurt you even. And they are very bad karma to do to somebody. You can inadvertently send a psychic block to someone, I suppose, but I feel most people do it with great intention. And they know what they're doing, and they wish you ill, or they want to control you, or have you stand on the mat and back in your place, and they will do this. I was fascinated because I had actually been told this maybe 5 or 6 years ago was someone else who was an intuitive, and she had said to me and shown me exactly where they'd shut me down, and that was exactly where I found the block. For me, it was the throat, and I'm going to be honest today, it was my husband. He put it in my throat because I was starting to speak out. He didn't want that. I hate to admit that, but it's true. And I've had that block there maybe 18 years or something like that, not realising I had it. And then I started having trouble with my throat, and it all makes sense, doesn't it? The other places they can do it are the solar plexus. You could actually feel it because you can feel the shutdown, like how they shut you down. You might even feel like a kick in the guts or a feeling around where your solar plexus is. That's your tummy. And they disempower you there. They want to shut you down. And so you do as you're told and do what I want you to do. That's a very common one. And the heart one, you will feel, some of us feel the hit in the heart. I've actually felt it. And I actually had someone I sat with, I think she's quite skilled at this, even though at that stage I knew I didn't know this stuff. She was trying to do it around my third eye, I think, because I just couldn't look at her. She was like fixing her gaze on me, and I kept breaking it all the time because I just knew to do that. And I think it was like a psychic attack on the third eye. If you think you've been psychically attacked, you will feel it, and you'll know it, and you'll have a sense of where it is. You can actually ask with your pendulum, or you can ask with kinesiology, do it yourself, or get someone to ask you, is there an attack here, 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 here? You can muscle test that way. You might also know intuitively. I feel like some of the problems we have that we can't get rid of when we do lots of work on ourselves are probably because the psychic attack shutdown is still there. It's still lodged in that chakra or in that place. It's the same as if you feel someone stabbed you in the back. That's where the psychic attack is, and that's where you need to go. Because what they do is they shut the energy down, they push it down and block it from coming from there, or mess it up, mess the energy up. It's not a nice thing. I don't think it's something many people talk about, but it happens. And I actually checked someone else because I went through and checked other people. This other person had this psychic block in their throat and throat chakra. If you go around and check, you probably might even know, some people around you, where the psychic attack went. People are very skilled with energy and they don't always use it well. People who have been into or the dark energies or the controlling energies, they will actually do these psychic attacks. And you won't even be aware of it, maybe, or maybe you will. So the most important thing is to release it. So I want you to start doing some release work, and you can use your tapping, you can do meditation, you can do some healing on it to release it. I think that's important. If you can't release it yourself, you've probably got other spiritual friends around you that you can ask to release it for you, either by doing like a Reiki in that area and releasing the block. And then I usually fill it up with lots of good light. These blocks can also happen in your childhood. For example, if you had a very controlling parent or someone who wanted to shut you down all the time, you will find that the block will be in those areas, the solar plexus and the throat. If you had a really nasty parent, you can have a block around the heart, which makes it hard for you to connect to other people. And if you had a parent who didn't like you were so intuitive, they'd like want to shut down your third eye. Even though it seems rather nebulous when I'm talking about it, it is a real thing. Energetically, it's really bad for your aura. That's why I'm doing this podcast, even though I don't like the idea of psychic blocks. You can also release it from someone else by doing healing in that area and or sending them healing and praying that the block is removed. Usually these people will know because they didn't have a voice, and that would be the throat, or they felt powerless, that would be the solar plexus. You'll know where it is, and they'll know where it is because of the way it feels and how you respond and where you're having issues. And once the block is released, then people can be free of it, which is a good thing. The karma goes back to the person who did it. I always release the block and send it to the light. I can't see any point in sending it back because then I'm just like them, aren't I? Send it to the light. And you might have to go back a few times and be aware, like in my case, it was 2 people who put the block there. When I asked with my pendulum and then with kinesiology, it came up the same 2 people. You will have a feeling about it and be aware that if you have 2 people do it, that's not so good. Sometimes too, when one person's alive and they put the block in, unfortunately, when they die, it's like they hand over the rod to somebody else, like in that running race. They hand it over, and then that person will then do it to you as well. I found that really interesting when I was checking people, that after they died, they handed over the running thing and off they went, and the people who were left behind put the block in again, just making sure it was still there. It would have been still in you, but you got like an extra whammy. Do not send psychic blocks. Very, very bad for your karma. Very bad for your karma. And the other thing is too, that it's obviously not good for the person. If you have sent it on purpose, or maybe you didn't mean to send it, but you think you might have sent it, you just go back and ask that they be removed and do a healing on them, even if you're not seeing them anymore. This is really bad karma because it's evil to do this to people and shut down their energy. And that's what a block is. It blocks the energy, disrupts the flow, and eventually will come and manifest in the physical body. It will shut it down, and then the body will get actually physically sick. But if you remove the block energetically first, it can all heal, the energy can come back. And it's really good then too, because you take back your power, in a sense, energetic power with that person. And like, okay, I saw the block, I removed it, and you won't do it again. And I would say that as well. Like when I did and the 2 people, I will say to them, I'll use their names and say, you will never put a block like that in again, and you'll never do that again. And you will find there'll be a complete change in the relationship, because these blocks are meant to disempower us or disempower another person. And once they're removed, the person has the power back. That will make the energy between the 2 of you quite different. And the other person will sense, who's put the block in, that it's not there anymore. And they might try and shut you down again, but I think you'll just land up saying, don't you try and shut me down. I'm entitled to say what I think. Or don't you try and disempower me. I can make my own decisions. Or don't you be hurtful. Don't you do that again. Or I trust my intuition. Don't you try and shut me down. I think you're going to find you'll verbalise things. So even though this is a little bit disappointing and sad podcast to do, it's a reality. And it might explain to you why you keep doing work on this area, but it doesn't heal and it's driving you nuts. and that's because you've got a psychic block there. Wishing you luck with it. Use your own release methods, but it's a very powerful thing to do, because then you're free of that, but also free of the power of them energetically over you, and that's a very good thing. Okay, I would also suggest, before I go, my guides have just reminded me, and fill that area up with love, because putting a psychic block in someone is very unloving. Okay, have a good week and have fun with this one. I found this really a bit mind-blowing, but also made sense. Sending you lots of love and lots of light.